Sabertooth is a 2002 creature feature directed by James D.R. Hickox. A group of young adults on a weekend camping trip get more than they bargained for when they find themselves stalked by a genetically engineered saber-toothed tiger. But before we get into this toothy tripe, I just want to ask that if you end up enjoying this video, then please think about hitting that like button and subscribing to my channel. And if you do, make sure to hit the bell icon so you never miss any of my videos. It would really help me out. So thanks. Also, there will be full spoilers ahead, but if that doesn't bother you, then grab your jack of potato, cheese and beans flavoured popcorn and whip out your favourite prehistoric chinchilla as we dive into Sabertooth. So the movie begins at the Science Frontiers building, which probably has something to do with science if my theory is correct. Oh, there we go, we have scientists.
Good night, Nathan.
Not if you have insomnia, Rachel. Or AIDS. So Mr. Backwards Cap makes his way through this science lab on a budget, and if you're telling me they genetically engineered a saber-toothed tiger in this place,
then I am Mickey Mouse!
How dare he?
Anyway, it's the janitor's job to keep the inside of the Sabertooth enclosure clean apparently, so he lowers the cage door and walks in before it's even closed because he's just that cool. Then it gets stuck because of course it does, and Mr. Backwards Cap, having the situational awareness of a decapitated goose, doesn't even realise. That is until he drops this can of cleaning spray which rolls over to the cage. Now it's at this point that you'd just open the door as quietly and calmly as possible and just leave, wouldn't you? But does he? Of course not. He's all like, "Oh no, not my favourite can of cleaning spray! My dog bought me that for my birthday!" So he goes to pick it up, and of course, he is attacked by the Sabertooth. But don't worry folks, I'm sure he'll be fine. Yep, he'll be just fine. Elsewhere we meet our merry band of hikers, which includes Super Sandra, because that's what the SS on her t-shirt stands for. Well, either that or she's part of the Third Reich. Then we have these two fellas, one of which is a dollar store Kevin Hart, so he's Kevin Shart. And hey up, is that Josh Holloway from Lost? Aye, it is like, although he isn't lost here, so let's call him Found. And I do find it funny that even when he's sat down, he's still taller than Kevin, bless him. We've also got Danger Hottie, because that's what it says on her t-shirt, so who am I to say otherwise? And she's got a backpack full of candy bars, which Super Sandra puts straight in the bin saying, "No candy! You're getting fat, bitch!" Which is a lie, because she's not. The last member of the group to turn up is this bellend whose head looks like an inverted pint of Guinness. So I'm going to call him Parrotfish. Why Parrotfish? Because I bloody well want to, that's why! So Super Sandra gives them a quick rundown of their planned hike, and off they go on their camping adventure, which will absolutely not end with most of them being killed by a saber-toothed tiger. Wink wink. Meanwhile we see this truck driver, whose name is Chuck the Duck, who is transporting the prehistoric predator in a metal crate. Good to know they've spared no expense when it comes to security measures, eh?
Oh, by the way, I was being sarcastic.
Anyway, as he pulls over to get some fuel, he gets a phone call.
Where are you?
I'm getting gas.
Well, take a bloody Rennie, stop whinging and deliver that prehistoric feline post-haste! Then he wanders over to this fella and says,
Hey, how you doing? You got any hot coffee?
Nope, the only thing this fella has is some seriously bad posture. To be honest, I'd stay clear of him. That haircut looks like it could be contagious. Back to the gang, who are only 5 minutes into their walk, and already Parrotfish is more out of breath than David Carradine having a wank.
First rule of hiking in the mountains?
Don't fall up this hill I'm standing on.
You dumb shit.
Later that evening, and Chuck is so into the music he's listening to that he neglects to look at the road, and ends up crashing. And he's even more pissed off when he finds his cargo has escaped. And first on the menu is Chuck the Duck himself, who I'm sure would taste a lot better with some plum sauce, but the Sabertooth doesn't have any on hand, unfortunately. Elsewhere, and we're at the home of John Rhys Davies' character, and oh, John, you're not even in costume, and have you even had a shower this morning? Man, he really doesn't give a toss, does he? Probably because
Nobody tosses a dwarf!
Anyway, he's the billionaire who funded the cloning of the saber-toothed tiger, so the process can be used for medical purposes. Which sounds a lot like the villain motivation in Lake Placid vs Anaconda. And Anaconda 3 and 4, which John Rhys Davies was also in. Oh my god, Andy was a billionaire in that as well! God, it's almost like they don't put much effort into writing these movies. Anyway, Gimmers is talking to this lady who is in charge of the Sabertooth project, so I'm going to call her Dr. Meow Meow. Both of whom are wondering what's taking Chuck the Duck so long to get there, so they decide to go out and look for him instead. Back to the gang who are sat around a campfire, and Super Sandra says,
Here's another good rule for camping.
Don't cover yourself in kerosene and jump into the campfire. Isn't that obvious? Tell that to Flammable Fred. Oh wait, you can't, 'cause he's dead. What? Seriously? He jumped into the fire covered in kerosene? No, he fell off a cliff. If only his spatial awareness were as good as his fire safety tips. Elsewhere at this isolated house, we see this couple who've just been to Pound Town. which was a long drive away, hence why they're having an early night. And as the lady goes to feed her cat, she notices the door's open and it's gotten out. And for some reason she grabs a flashlight and goes out looking for it. Why waste your time doing that? Just ding its dinner bowl. And if that doesn't work, then shake a bag of Dreamies. Indeed, Dreamies are like a guaranteed cat teleportation device. But no, she'd rather wander around in the dark and, oh, she's been attacked by the Sabertooth. At least I think that's the Sabertooth. Or it could just be a grey smudge. Anyway, her fella sees this happen and runs back inside, hiding behind the door. But then... no wonder it broke through that with ease. It's got to be the thinnest bloody door I've ever seen. Somebody buy it a pie and chips. The next morning, Gimmers and Dr. Meow Meow drive past where Chuck the Duck crashed the truck, and Gimmers whips out his phone to call in a favour.
Who are you calling?
Thatcher.
Hate to tell you, Paul, but she's been dead for a bit, eh? Then we're introduced to this fella, who is a big game hunter, and the son of Van Pelt from Jumanji.
Oh.
So I'm going to call him Carhide. But for some reason they tell him it's a lion on the loose and not a saber-toothed tiger, which I don't understand because he's going to find out it's not a lion as soon as he sees it, so why don't they just tell him the truth? Anyway, Gimmers offers him
$50,000.
50.
fine, 60,000. No, you said 50. I want the 50. But 60 is more than... oh, never mind, 50 it is. So they get tooled up and ready to hunt down the cat. But why is billionaire Gimmers even going with them? Oh, well, at least he's brought his personal assistant along in case he needs his arse wiped. So off they go, and it's not long before they find that isolated house with a big bloody hole in the door.
Good God. Do you think a big dog could have done that?
A big dog? Why would you think that when your saber-toothed tiger's on the loose? So they search inside the house and find some gore lying around. The lazy shit. And Carhide says to Dr. Meow Meow,
"Get that cell phone out and call the police. Tell them to come as quick as they can."
The phone's gone.
What do you mean gone?
It must have fallen out on the trail somewhere.
okay, well what about the backup phone? I ate it? You ate it? Yes. Back to the hikers, and Parrotfish asks Super Sandra,
How long have you been doing this?
well, we set off about 2 p.m. yesterday, so since 2 p.m. yesterday. That evening, and the gang are around the campfire again, when they hear a strange noise.
What was that? You guys never heard cats mate before?
No! And it really worries me that you have. Then Found and Danger Hottie take off on their own for a bit, and he admits that he and Super Sandra had a thing once, but...
I screwed things up.
I screw a lot of things up.
like what? Oh, you know, shelves, photo frames and the like. Then all of a sudden she takes her top off and runs away playfully, leaving Found thinking, well, I can't say I expected her to do that, but okay. The fun doesn't last for long though, as Danger Hottie runs into the Sabertooth and reacts the same way I do whenever someone unexpectedly rings my doorbell. Then Found finds her, which is funny in itself. Then they head back to camp. Meanwhile, at the hunter's camp, Gimmer's PA is freaking out over the fact that they're camping while an incredibly dangerous animal is on the loose. So she wanders away from the campfire because she's a genius.
Could be right behind me, I wouldn't even know it.
Oh no! The irony! And the others barely have anything to say about her death because they never really liked her anyway. The next morning, and Super Sandra is struggling to believe Danger Hottie's description of what she saw. But Parrotfish notices there's a rather big footprint outside his tent, so they agree it's best to pack up and head back to town.
I don't want to go home. I'm not scared, alright?
So you saw a legit saber-toothed tiger nearby and want to keep hiking in that area?
Are you insane?
So they continue and soon come across this cave in the hillside, with Kevin Sharp like, oh, a cave. Maybe it's got a mountain lion in it so I can poke it with my poke stick, poke. So he and Super Sandra go in to explore while Parrotfish dies from heat stroke. The cave turns out to be somewhat disappointing, however, as much like Kevin, it's rather on the small side. But on their way out, oh, a mountain lion! Now stay still, you beautiful creature, while I poke you with my poke stick, poke. But then it runs off, probably because it's late for a dentist appointment or something. As night rolls in yet again, everyone hits the sack, but Parrotfish needs to take care of some business.
Real man, take my knife. That's not a knife. This is a knife.
I see you've played knifey spoony before.
So he goes out into the woods, but before he can even poop, he hears the Sabertooth's growl and reacts by spinning around in circles to disorientate himself. Then as he's running away, he trips over a rock, and when he gets up he sees a CGI Sabertooth face right in front of him. Everyone back at camp hears his scream and thinks, "Shut up!" The hunters hear the commotion too. So while Carhide goes looking for the hikers in the dark, Gimmers says,
You take first watch.
while I waddle back into the tent like whoop, 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 whoop. The others all keep the fire burning and sit around it until morning, with Kevin Sharp passing the time by sharpening his knife with his trusty whetstone fingers. In the morning they decide to split into pairs to look for Parrotfish, and it's not long before Super Sandra finds the toilet roll he had with him, and Kevin takes his frustration out on this pure defenceless tree. Somebody call the tree police! They continue their search, but then...
Hey, you don't want to go back there.
Jesus.
No, I'm not Jesus. My name is Carhide, son of Van Pelt. They ask him if he's seen their missing friend, but Carhide has some bad news for them. He's back there, but trust me, you don't want to see what's left of him. He looks like a pile of spaghetti bolognese with glasses on. So they all go and find the others. Meanwhile, at Gimmer's camp...
Anthony.
What the hell are you doing?
You know I don't like bear traps being thrown at me! Dr. Meow Meow tries to convince Gimmers that they should still capture the Sabertooth and not kill it, but Gimmers is like, no.
We kill the animal. We burn the evidence. You start again. You make a different animal.
One with,
Blackjack and hookers.
you know what, forget the animal. Let's clone socks instead. Everyone needs socks, right? But she reminds him that socks don't have DNA and are also plentiful, and says that if they capture the Sabertooth, then Gimmers can have...
The money, the power, the women.
You're talking to a billionaire. I'm pretty sure he's got all three of those. Elsewhere, it looks like Found and Danger Hottie have found themselves in danger as the Sabertooth is following them. And I'm starting to think that the reason we only see brief glimpses of the animatronic Sabertooth is because it looks a bit... shit. Took the word right out of my mouth. You thief! So they climb up these rocks with the grey smudge, the Sabertooth, close behind them. Or is it? As it then attacks Danger Hottie from above, grabbing her head in its jaws before running off with her like, I've got your head, and now I'm gonna eat ya. Leaving Found feeling a bit lost. He makes it back to camp and the others ask what happened.
It's one of those dinosaurs.
What? So Carhide says to the others,
There's an abandoned mine about a mile up. Hide there and I'll be back for you.
so they all run up this hill, which must be difficult for poor Lal Kevin as he needs to take 2 steps for every 1 step they take. Personally, I think it's rude that Found didn't offer to carry the poor bugger. Meanwhile, Carhide finds the Sabertooth and says,
What the hell?
as he inevitably realises that it's not a lion, which was always gonna happen, so why didn't they just tell him? Poor writing strikes again, I fear. Poor doesn't even cover it, Ken. Unfortunately, he misses the chance to kill it too, as Dr. Meow Meow tries to trank it and it runs off. So he's fairly pissed off that Dr. Meow Meow and Gimmers kept the truth from him, and calls them a bunch of sick bastards!
Bastards.
Before the Sabertooth attacks, making Gimmers run off like, please no! I'm too middle-aged to die! But the Sabertooth gives no shits and it chases him down before giving his face a proper good chomp, which at least gives the others time to run away. Back to the unhappy campers and Kevin Shart is aching for some payback, saying,
I know you out there. I'm not afraid of your ass.
I'm afraid of yo teeth, which is at the opposite end to yo ass. Then they see the beastie coming, so Kevin whips out this even smaller knife and decides to go head-to-head with the Toothy Terror, while the others go and hide in the mine. He puts up a decent fight to be fair, but is ultimately defeated due to his small stature and inflated ego. And unfortunately for Found and Super Sandra, the mine is a dead end, so now they're both up shit creek without even a boat. Or at least Found is, because Super Sandra's able to squeeze out this small hole in the top, and goes to get help from Carhide who's just arrived. He hands Dr. Meow Meow his rifle and goes to help, coming up with the ludicrous plan of getting Super Sandra to hang upside down through the hole and throw a spear full of tranquilizer at the Sabertooth, which against all odds actually works because this movie is stupid! So once the cat is unconscious, Found makes his way out of the mines, albeit with a few scratches, but all limbs intact. Carhide tells Dr. Meow Meow to get them out of here, while he takes care of the Sabertooth. And by take care of it, I mean shoot it till it's dead. The tranq wears off pretty quickly, and the the Sabertooth walks out right into his sights. But then...
That bitch.
bloody Dr. Meow Meow's taken the bullets out of his gun, hasn't she? So he takes off running with all the grace of me taking the scenic route home from the pub. Thankfully, Found and Super Sandra have decided to come back and help him, and they make some spears to defend themselves with. They also come across Dr. Meow Meow standing by a cliffside thinking, man, that's a beautiful view. Shame I'm going to get killed in the next few minutes. So Carhide walks over to her and says, hey Doc, oh, you've got something on your cheek. Let me get that for you.
You left me for dead.
And now...
I'm gonna kill your fucking cat.
you leave my precious pause button alone. He hasn't done anything to anyone. Bitch, he's literally killed 8 people! But then she whips out a gun and is like,
I will not let you kill my creation.
because I'm the real baddie of the movie now, eh? But then... oh, great plan, mate. Roundhouse kick the gun out of her hand and get shot at the same time. Oh, I love it when folk do stupid shit like that. And then the Sabertooth turns up and attacks her, before dragging her behind this rock because God forbid we get to see a full kill in this movie. Then it turns its sights towards the others, and Carhide gets its attention, before it leaps towards him and right down onto his spear, ending the feline fiend's reign of terror once and for all. And so the day is saved. Found is a little worse for wear, but he'll recover, especially with a little loving from Super Sandra, and Carhide's dad will no doubt be impressed with his latest trophy. Hey Dad, I killed a saber-toothed tiger today! End of movie. And there we have it, folks. Sabertooth is unfortunately a bit on the lower end of the scale quality-wise, and while it does have some entertaining moments, I did find a lot of it fairly boring, and I wish they used the animatronic Sabertooth a lot more than the grey smudge, but oh well. That being said though, I could certainly think of worse ways to spend 83 minutes, though I think you might need a few more drinks than usual to get the most out of this one. So, Sabertooth, what did you think of it? Did you like it? Did you loathe it? Let me know in the comments below while I do absolutely nothing. I'm already bored.